hands down, easily the best episode of Suka Suka to date. This episode definitely made up for last week's episode, because I was kind of like, about last week's episode. This episode made up for it, and I was very pleased with what I got. Like, I was watching it as soon as it came out on Crunchyroll, and I was like, damn, like, this is a good episode. Like, I love the characterization on Kutori and what's going on with her, and the development that's taking place, and then I really love the world building that this episode was trying to do, and I was like, damn, this is what I've been wanting, and the way this episode was just really diving into these details and stuff, I'm like, this is a freaking solid episode. So, let's talk about what we learned. So, we found out the truth about the fairies. These fairies, our main characters, basically, our cast and support characters, they are actually spirits. They have been brought back to life. For instance, people that have died in the past, children or whatever, their souls have been brought back and basically reborn into these, fairy-like bodies, or, human-like bodies, and they are tasked to be weapons. And over time, because of, what they are, they have a very short lifespan. And if they remember their previous life, their overall mind just starts breaking down. Like, it disintegrates to the point to where you just no longer function like you once did. You basically become very crazy. And that's what we're seeing taking place with Kutori in this episode. How she is going crazy. She's hearing things. And these things she is hearing is actually from her previous life before she died. So basically what this episode was letting us know is that all of our main characters, basically, they're already dead. And the reason why they don't fear death is because they're already dead to begin with. There's no reason to fear death when you've already died in the first place, and you're just a spirit there. And so, because of that, it makes a little bit more sense. But it doesn't just stop there, though. What makes this very interesting is the fact that some of these characters that are, we know they're all dead now, that means that some of these characters could possibly be someone that, our main male character, William, knows about. For instance, he met in the past and he was acquainted with. Most likely one of these characters could be someone that from his past, and I feel like that's probably what's going to happen, because the way this was introduced with this plot point, with how, all these fairies are actually just dead people, that's going to happen. It's just common sense something like that is going to happen for this series. Regardless, though, what really got me fascinated about this episode was the fact that all the fairies will slowly start to go crazy. And you know how I feel. I think everybody now knows how I feel about the psychological genre and just how, characters go crazy and stuff. I love that. And having characters to where they're breaking down, they're questioning what really is reality or what's really going on, who are they or what they really are, I love that type of stuff. And seeing how Kutori was kind of going for this issue to where her mind is breaking down and all that, she's changing and she's remembering who she once was, it makes you question, like, oh, well, who's going to be next? Like, which character is going to break down next? And also, since she was able to slowly, will herself back, technically, at the end of this episode, is it necessarily gone? I honestly highly doubt that, because of what we saw with, the preview, or, the actual, I guess, flash forward at the beginning of episode 1. If you go back, remember, episode 1, we saw something happening where, Kutori, she was going completely crazy and all that, and we saw how she had, red eyes and stuff. Clearly, whatever was going on there is still yet to technically happen. So because of all of this, we know that her overall problem is not settled. She is still probably going crazy, and I wonder exactly which character is going to go crazy alongside of her next, and also, is there any way to save her at all? I mean, if she's able to overcome this, barrier or this issue that's literally destroying her mind, will she return to what she once was? And what I'm getting at is like, will she have an option? Like, if, this continues to happen and she's not going to die or whatever, well, eventually she have to make a choice to which personality she wants to be the dominant person of the body. For instance, will it be the person that died a long time ago to be the dominant personality, or will it be the new one that has been born in this body once again? Because clearly we know there's different personalities. Since they've been reborn or whatever, they're not necessarily the exact same person. They have their own memories, their own thoughts, their own personality, and the way they perceive things. So because of that, obviously they're not the same. And so because of her going crazy, her mind disintegrating, it's like two people inside of one body, and that is kind of what's causing this, how her mind is just breaking down. So I'm kind of curious about that, and I'm very curious to see how far they're willing to go with that, and to find out if, she's going to eventually have that option. Will she be able to choose, who she currently is, or her past self? But getting off of that, though, let's talk about the other world building and also the introduction of a new character. I think his name is Su Wong. I think that's how you say it. So Wong or Su Wong. I forget the exact pronunciation for the start of his name. But regardless, though, we're introduced to this new character, which was kind of hinted at in the previous episodes with the statue, and he's finally back, which I was really surprised that the character was still alive. I thought he was dead. I mean, I figured everyone that was in the past, from the past, that William met was already dead, but apparently not. Now, technically, even though he is still alive, he's not necessarily the same person. What I'm getting at is, he has aged, but also, he can't be considered, human anymore because he cursed himself, and he kind of can't be injured, and he's basically immortal. So he's not really, human anymore. And so that's kind of why William still is considered the last, living, human being alive, because technically the wizard, Su Wong is not necessarily, a human anymore. So it's still relevant, but I was really interested in the fact of how this man was still around and how he actually was the sole reason why these floating islands exist in the first place. And what also really threw me for a loop was the fact that the person that our main male character William was fighting and what caused him to be petrified in the first place, according to my understanding, he is there as the skull. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Like, yo, what? Like, yo, what? So, I mean, there was a lot of surprises throughout this episode, and I was really entertained. Like I said, it was probably the best episode of the series to date. Easily the best, because it has so much information on it. It had so many emotions you could just grab from this episode, and it doesn't just stop there, though. I mean, there was just so many things. I mean, towards the end of the episode, oh my god, that got really sad. Like, oh my god, like, I knew she wouldn't necessarily die. It was kind of obvious that she wouldn't be gone because of what we saw in the first episode. But I have to admit, it did tug at my heartstring when I saw that scene at the end, to when, he was really upset and all that, William was. And then all of a sudden, she wakes up and she just confesses her feelings and all that. Kutori was kind of like this: even if you're a dense main male character from a light novel, you're still going to understand my feelings after I'm done with this, because I want to tell you how I truly feel. She confessed her feelings, how much she loved him and all that, and how it's basically a miracle how she came back in the first place, but it's not going to be, sunshine and rainbows, because obviously it's not over yet. She's going to continue to have this problem where she's going to be breaking down slowly, and honestly, that's probably going to be very painful to watch, because, the main male character, William, he does care about her, he cares about the others as well, and if he's seeing someone he cares about just slowly losing their minds, going crazy, that's really going to have a, an effect on you. That's really going to drag you down, make you feel like absolute shit, and I feel like that's going to be one of the big things, too, that's going to be taking place in the upcoming episodes. So, yeah. Great episode. Can't wait to see what happens next. It was really, really fun, and just can't wait for the next episode. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. How do you feel about this week's episode? Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? Please be honest in the comments below, and I love you all so much. Please be safe. Chibi out.